Hey, hello everyone. Yeah, so how are you all? Hope you all are doing great. So, I am Ayan Gupta, Android facilitator of GDSC SSTC, and today is the 8th day of our Android Study Jam Bootcamp. And today we are going to cover about Firebase with Android. So, just be with us. And one more thing, like after this session, we are going to take one interaction session, like where you can ask your doubts and many things like where are you facing errors or anything else related to Android. And yeah, the link will be shared on the chats only, and you will you can get it from there only, and you can also find it in a WhatsApp group also. So yeah, let's start. We have our speakers with us like Yoni Chauhan and Niket Jain. So we are going to start our Firebase session. Okay. So yeah, so let's get started. Yeah, Yonit sir, it's up to you now. Are you there? Just a minute. I think there is some network issues. Yeah,
Hello,
now okay.
am I audible?
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
audible.
so hello everyone. So let's basically start with Firebase. So all the apps that we have already developed were the ones that we just run on our own phones, right? But as we know, this is real world, and in real world, most of the apps use the internet, right? There's some network calls and there's data coming from some different servers and databases. So the Firebase is one such utility which we can use, and Firebase also provides all the um, servers, and basically it is said to be serverless because we do not have to manage the servers. The servers are managed by the Firebase team. Okay, so just give me a minute. Okay, so we can just go to firebase.com, firebase.google.com. Okay, so this is the website, and you can see all the docs. You have to basically just go to firebase.google.com, and then you can go to console from this top right button. Okay, next thing which you have to do is create a new project for the Firebase. So just like we created project for Android Studio, we similarly have to create a project in Firebase also. Okay, so let's call our project Fruit Firebase for now. Let's just continue. Okay, so this is an Google Analytics integration. So we can just leave it as it is and click continue. Okay, we need to configure Google Analytics account for it because like as I had already mentioned that Firebase provides a lot of facilities like crash analytics also. So when we are developing the app, we have the logs. But when we have already shipped the apps, we do not have access to logs, right? But when the app crashes, we need the logs in order to debug those. So and other than that, also analytics helps us by providing some information and useful information like where your users are, what is the general time that our app is being used. So it helps to build further. Simply click on create project. It will take up a few minutes, and it will basically do all the job for you. So it will create some servers, and it will provision like resources. It is saying it is provisioning resources for us. Okay, this also has a huge free tier, so you do not have to pay anything while we are learning to use the Firebase. Okay, so yeah, our project is ready. We can just hit continue. Okay, so this is the Firebase console. So like this, as you can see on this left panel, it has a lot of different options. You might recall some from our previous session that we had discussed that it provides all of these. So what is the first thing that we need to do? We need to attach the Android project with this Firebase project. So we will just click on this Android icon because it says get started by adding Firebase to your app. So yes, we need to do that. We'll simply click on Android. This is the page that kind of a form which we have to fill. Okay, so while making up a new Android project also, we had mentioned the package name. Okay, so that same package name, we need to mention it over Firebase. You can give it a nickname just for our own convenience. Okay, other than that, like in just this is optional. You can leave it. Just click on register app. Okay, so it should register the app. Yes, and then it will give you a config file. So just download it. As you can see that I'm not doing something very great here. I'm just following the steps which are coming up, right? So majorly all our development is going to be like this only. Okay, let's just click next after the file is downloaded. We will simply so we will just copy the JSON file, sorry, config file. Okay, so after downloading, you can see that it says that in the Android Studio, you have to do a little bit of setup. So it says that go to the project and then paste it under app, right? So we will do that. We will go here, this top left corner, it says Android. We have to change it to project. We will open this up and inside of app, we will just simply paste it. Okay, so all the information regarding our Firebase is present over here. So you can, I mean, the Android can just refer to it. It actually refers to it on a later stage, and that is how it like I had already mentioned that Firebase in with Firebase we do not have to actually call the APIs. All the APIs will be called for us. So how does it know which API to call and which is our project? So all those information was contained in that config file. Okay, you can next it just says that we have to add the Firebase SDK to our app, and that's how all the Firebase accessible code will be accessible to us. All the Firebase code will be accessible to us. So you can just switch back to Android here from the top left corner, and then you can see that we have Gradle builds, Gradle files here. Okay, let me just close all. Okay, so we have two build.gradle files here. One is the app version and one is the project version. Okay, so you can see that in the project level build.gradle, you have to just copy this line of code as it says inside build script, repositories, and then dependencies. So inside build script, repository, and dependencies. So this is where we had to this line we have copied and we have pasted it exactly as it tells us to. Okay. Next, we will choose our language as Kotlin because that is what we are using. Then again, it tells us that inside of app level build.gradle. So this is the app level build.gradle. Here we will simply do the configuration as it tells us. Simply copy pasting a few stuff. Dependencies. This is the dependencies section of the build.gradle file. We will copy paste the same. We will also copy paste this second piece and then just click next, and we are ready to get started with Firebase and Firestore we will be using. So Firestore is a database, so that is the place where all our data will be kept, and we will be trying to write into it and then read from it. Okay, so this is the Cloud Firestore. We will simply click on create database, and that will create a database for us, but there is certain configuration that we have to do. First of all, there are security rules for Cloud Firestore because everything is secure. So basically you can write security rules here. Okay, so I mean, you need to give specific rules for each and every piece of information, that who can access those, who cannot access those. For example, if your Instagram profile is public, so we have to mention rule, security rules according to it. And if like the Instagram account is private, then it should not be visible to people other than followers. So all of those security rules and much more security rules can be set up here. But for time being, we will just skip this security rules, although it is never suggested. Okay, I think it is not allow. Okay, so here it is not allowing us to edit, but we can simply click next. We need a location where this server is going to be set up, where this Firestore database is going to be set up. So we will simply use Asia Southeast one, which is I think Mumbai. Okay, we can check it, but it's Asia Southeast one is Mumbai. So we are setting up our server in Mumbai. So enable, and it will just provision the actual database for us. So we do not have to care about where the database is and how it is going to be managed. Okay, we need to care about where it is. So we have set up only the location, but how it is going to be managed will be managed by Firebase itself. We do not have to do that hassle. Okay, it will take up a few minutes, and it will set up everything for us. In the meantime, we can just simply get search on Google for Firestore docs. So documentation is one thing that we are going to be heavily using. Okay, so this is Cloud Firestore's documentation page. Okay, it has all the introduction in it. Let's click on just simply get started. So this is the get started page, and it also has all the instructions mentioned on it. But to get started with it, we need to import the dependency for Firestore also. So we will simply copy this line of code as it says in the instructions. You can read those later, or when you implement, you can actually read those. So I know that this was the piece of line of code which was required here. So I have just copy pasted it here, and I will click here on sync now. Okay. So again, Gradle build will take up few minutes to just sync and actually download the SDK and integrate into our app. In the meantime, let's check if, yeah, so our Cloud Firestore is already ready. Okay, you can see here it has 4 tabs: data, rules, indexes, usage. Usage is actually just information about usage, of how much it is used. Indexes, you actually, all the fields that we have inside of our Cloud Firestore, those are actually indexed for faster querying purposes. But certain, if like Cloud Firestore supports querying only on single fields for certain kind of queries, but you can extend it by creating your own indexes on this page. Okay, this is the rules, which is the security rules. So we need to make sure that we write these security rules in a proper format, and we make sure that our app is highly secure. But for time being, we will just say that allow just read and write to everyone, although this is never recommended because it is really a bad practice. You should never allow anyone to read and write. You should have some certain security rules here, but for just learning purposes, we will keep it to allow read write if true, and then we will simply click publish so that these new security rules are published. Okay, so yeah, this is published, and then here we have the data, which is actually the useful part. So it says start collection. So basically, Firestore works in a fashion where you have collections and then you have documents. You can have any number of millions or billions of documents inside of a collection. Okay, and similarly, you can have as many collections as you wish. But the format says that there needs to be a collection. Inside of that collection, there will be documents, again that document may contain sub collections, and then again those sub collections may have documents, and it goes so on. So basically you have collection, and inside of those you need to have documents. You cannot have collections inside of collections or documents inside of another document. So it goes on alternatively, that collection document and so on. Okay, so just for example, I create a collection. Let's just call it items. Okay, and then we will click next, and then you can see that after the collection we want to create a document. Now what's document id? Document id is the actually parameter which differentiates all different documents. So there needs to be at least one unique parameter, right? And that here is the document id to okay. You can either give document ID by yourself, or just Firestore provides automatic IDs for us, which is completely random, and it ensures that no two document IDs are same. So we can just do that. Then it tells us that you can have various field value pairs here. So we will just give, for example, name, and then I can give my own name. It is of the type string, and I will just click save. Okay, so so this is a collection, and inside of it, you can see that there can be more number of documents. I will just show you a quick example here. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, this was a collection, and inside of it, we can have as many documents as we wish, and then inside of this document, you may again have a collection, and the chain goes on. But okay, so this is the what do you call it, as the format, or the way Firestore stores our data. Okay, for now, we will simply delete this uh, collection. I don't know what's wrong here. Just a second. Okay. Yeah, it's empty again. But this was an example how you can write and read from the console itself. But in our case, we need that our Android app should have the capability to go to Firestore, read and write here, right? So we will just get started with it. So Gradle build is done. So all our SDKs are imported. Let me give you a quick overview of what this project. Already I have written some piece of code. Okay, so there's obviously activity main, as we all know. Okay, activity main has certain buttons and certain fields. This is the main activity, and as you can see, again has all those buttons and latent vars required, which are required, and then we will just simply initialize the views. We will be uh, okay. So okay, let me just show you the layout first. Okay, I hope you are able to see the layout. Okay, so it has three buttons: fruits, vegetables, and others, and then it has a card view that allows you to add new fruits, vegetables, or other things. Okay, and this is the main activity KT file, Kotlin file. Okay, so we have simply set on click listeners to everything, and then we have a add button. So add button dot set on click listener. What is going to happen? We are calling our own function add, and this is the function add. Okay, here we are doing some checks basically, because we do not want that not proper like improper data should not go. So that's why we are just taking value type, and then if the radio button is checked, then we are assigning it a value. Okay, what is item? So this is the item. Okay, so it's a class item. Okay, it has, again, as we already know, these variables: one is id, one is name, and one is type. And then we have a companion object. So companion objects are objects which are basically common for all the objects of this type class. Okay, so like for example, here we have written value name of the type string, but I can say simply directly use item dot fruits type, because these all these three variables are common to all the objects of item. So that is what it does here. I say that when radio button is checked, I am simply assigning it a value, fruits type. So that is the type. But what if that none of these radio buttons was checked? In such a case, we say that if type is null, so just make a toast and then return. That means do nothing after that. Okay. Similarly, we are fetching the name, and then we are saying that if the name is blank, tell the user that you need to enter some name, and then we will just say that return if the name was blank. So at this point of time, we have a type and we have a name. So what we need to do next is prepare an object that we will be writing to the Firestore. So we will just say value item is equals to new item. We will do item dot let's just say name, item dot name is equals to the name which we had read from the edit text. Okay, just a second. I think I mentioned val here. So it's constant. We want that it should be changed. So I'm just changing it to var. Item dot name is equals to name. Item dot type is equals to type. So this was the read type from which we accessed using the radio buttons. Okay, so we have the basically object. We have prepared the object. So we have prepared the object. Next thing which we need to do is upload to the Firestore. So as of now, we have not made any network calls or anything of that sort. So are you like? I hope you all are excited, because you will see how little piece of code is required, and yet you will see that our code will get pushed to our servers. Okay. Um, okay. So okay, let's start with this code. Okay. Let's just say Firebase Firestore. Okay, so how do I know this? I actually do not remember all of these. If you go to the Cloud Firestore's documentation, you can see that add and manage data, add data. So this is the documentation page. Okay. Okay, so you can see that how to set a document, and these many languages and even more are available. So you can use Firestore with any of your projects, not just necessarily Android. For Android, we are using Kotlin. So I have selected that tab, and it is showing me the page for that. Okay, so you can use hash maps here, or basically we have our own proper custom object. So this is the custom object, and here you can see that database dot collection. Okay, so this database might be somewhere in the get started. It's not mentioned here. Let's just create a value database. Okay, how do you create this? It's simple. Firebase Firestore as okay, so as you write it, yeah, you can see that it provides options. So simply click on Firebase Firestore dot get instance. So now we have the instance of this Firestore object. Okay, and then what we have to do is database dot collection. As I had already mentioned, that format is collection and then documents. So we will just give a name to our collection. Okay, so this is database, and then this is collection. So this is basically your collection reference. Okay, this is your collection reference. Let's just get a document reference as well. DB, sorry, not DB, collection reference dot. So we get the Firebase Firestore's instance, then we get to the collections, and then we say that we need a document. Okay, so when we do not write anything here, it means that it will automatically create a new document, and it will automatically generate an ID as well. Okay, So database, collection reference, Docker reference, all of this is done. What we need to do next is Docker reference dot set and item. Okay. So yeah, if you can literally see, these are just 4 lines of code, or you can reduce it to 2 lines also. That this is the database. You can simply go on to create collection here, and then a document, and then dot set item. Okay, so you may create different if it is to be reused. You may write the same thing in 2 lines, but you can also do this in a single line of code. So this is database dot collection dot document, that is a new document, and then dot set, and this is the our custom object that we are passing. Okay, so this is just 1 line of code, and you will see that it goes to such an extent that it will basically write the data to your cloud Firestore, which resides somewhere else. And again, you can access it. We will see how to read data also. So when you read the data, you can read it from anywhere. Like for example, we have our basic notes apps. We can upload it right from here, and then we can access it on any Android app. Or basically, it server is there, so data is written there. We can access it on web apps also. Okay, so same piece of data can be used. Okay, so Gradle build is running. Okay, so this was our, so it is right now empty. This is our Firestore console page. It is empty right now, as you can see. And once this project loads up, okay. Okay, anyways, so in the meantime, when it's Gradle build is running, let's check out one more thing. Okay, so we already have a document, and then we have set a new item for it. Now let's check add on success listener. Just similar to what we did earlier in buttons set on click listener, right? This was the line of code. Add button dot set on click listener, and then curly braces, and then you want to do whatever is to be done after the button is clicked. So this was the piece of code, right? Similarly, it says add on success listener. What does this mean? That whenever you have written to the, because this is a network call, right? So it may pass, or for example, if your net is not working properly, or if you are offline, in such cases it may not be written, right? So they will simply you can have add on success listener for this, and then you can do whatever you want to do after it has successfully been written. Okay, let's just toast for now. Okay, length long dot show. Okay, what's wrong here? Successfully. So this was the line of code. We have it, and then when it is successfully written, we just give a toast that it is successfully written. And very similarly, you can add on failure listener as well. Just a second. Okay. Yeah, so this is the add-on failure listener. So add-on success listener, it says that it just returns nothing, it's void. But here we get an exception object. So we can simply use it dot print stack trace. So what this line of code does, it prints all of the trace of where the problem started until the very end of what exactly was wrong, so that you can open up the logs, and then similarly to here, you will get all the logs here, and then you can actually see of what went wrong to debug it. Okay, so let's just leave it to that. Okay, so like this is how you write to the database. Upload slash write with Firestore database. Okay, so this is how you can write. This is like already done. This was pretty much what is required to write data to your database. Okay. Okay, so that is pretty much it, how you write. Now, next, let us look at how you can read data. Okay, so here it was set. You will see that it's little different in while reading. So we have a list activity. Okay, in the main activity also, if you see, so if the we had three buttons, right? Fruits, vegetables, and others. So if you click on those, what happens is it creates an intent. Okay, it creates an intent and then just puts the type of these. Okay, so this was not title. This was supposed to be type. Okay, so yeah, type of the this is the type, and we are just putting extra over there. So we will in the next activity we will just get it back. So value type is equals to, let's use get intent. Uh, you can use get intent dot get string extra. Okay, and what was the string called as? It was called as type. So we will just say type, or else we will give it a default value of just blank instead of null. Sorry. Okay, yeah, we do not need to give any default values. We have the string extra, and that is type. So we have the type here now. Now what we need to do is, if you look into this item class, we have three things: ID, name, and then type. Okay. So in such a scenario, what you have to do is, again, you need the database reference. So Firebase Firestore dot get instance. So we now have the instance of this Firestore. We need to do database dot collection. It was called items, and then we will do dot get. Sorry, not dot get, dot where equal to. You can see it has endless queries. It has really too many queries. For now, we will be checking out this where equal to query. Okay, so what is this doing? It is it is getting an instance of Firestore, and then we are saying that go inside the collection, which is called as items. Okay, inside of it, what we have to do is we have to give the name of the field, right, or the attribute, you can say. So this is the name of the attribute. We will just type it here. Okay, so this is the key which it has to look. For example, it has many documents. Some may have the value of type as fruit, some may have the type as vegetable, some may have the type as other. But what we are telling the Firestore to do is that you have to check this particular attribute, which is called type, which is called as type, and then what you have to do is you have to match it with what I am giving you. So this one, you can say here that you need vegetables. Okay, so what this will do is it will check all the documents for the field type, and then it will look for the value vegetables, and wherever it finds that these condition match, all those documents will be returned to you. Okay, so instead of hard coding it, we were actually getting it from the intent. So we will just pass on that. You can actually limit it to, like, for example, if you need just 10 or 20 or those kind of things. But for now we will just get fetch all of those, although this is also not recommended because you may have, for example, 50,000 or a million documents inside of it. So what this line of code is doing is it will get all of those documents wherever the type is, whatever mentioned type. So we do not want that, because that will just boost up our bills to unknown limits. What we want is that we will simply get, we can use the dot limit here to get 10, and then what you can do is you can get the first 10 and then second 10, and then likewise when the user scrolls and when it is required, then you can go on to load those. But for now, let's just get all of those documents we are equal to, and then we will simply say dot get. Okay, again, we have the same pieces of Lambda functions available to us. Add on success and add on failure listeners. Again, failure listener, again here it provides us an exception type. So if it fails for some reason, we have the exception. So we will simply say it dot print stack trace. Okay, let's just compare it very quickly. So we get the database reference using Firebase Firestore.get instance. We get to the collection, very similar here also. So both are similar. Dot document creates a new document. Okay, and then we are set. So we use set to basically write, and here you will be able to see that here is a piece of query that what is to be matched, and then this is how you read using the get function method call. Okay, so set and here get, that is right, this is read, and then we have the same both lambda functions available to us, success and failure listeners. Here success listener was not returning us anything, it was void, but here it says that it returns query snapshot. Obviously we want to read something, so we need the data, right? So that data is contained inside of this query snapshot. Okay, so what you have to do is it dot you can just say okay, so these are too many documents, so it dot you can say documents and then two, okay, just a second. Okay, we can do for doc in it dot documents. So what is this doing? Uh, this is saying that declare a new variable doc, and all the documents, it will keep on iterating through those. Okay, wait a second, I will show you how you can do that also. Okay, let's just go to the Firestore documentation again. You will see that read data is present over here, and then you can see this get data once, which we are exactly trying to do. Okay, and then we'll simply click on custom objects. So here we have it. When we request only one document, it gives us single document. But when we require more than one documents, you can simply do for document in documents, which is exactly what we did. Okay. So here also you can see for doc in it dot. So query snapshot had various documents inside of it. So we are iterating through it, and then doc dot to object. So we have to basically it returns in a kind of JSON or XML for JSON format, I think, but it returns in a different format, not exactly in the format that we need it. So we need to convert that into what we require. Okay, let's just log it also, so we will be able to see it. Okay, let's just quickly write a log here. Let's just $it dot define. So we have just basically logged it, so we will be able to see it in the later part. Okay, doc dot to object, we will say item dot class dot java. Okay, we need to assign it to a variable, so we will just say val item. Okay, so what we are doing, we already put a query inside of it, then we said that get, so it gets us, and as soon as it gets, it returns a query snapshot which has various documents inside of it. So we will simply iterate through each of the documents that says doc in it dot document, so we are iterating through it, and then we have the item. So we will declare a new variable value item, and then we will convert the document which was in JSON format into our custom object. Okay, so value item. Um, we already have the item. Okay. Yeah, we have the item here, and then we can simply do whatever we want to do with this. But we now have the item at least. Okay, so like in I think yesterday's session, we learned about recycler views. So it's the same. This is the view, this is the list, and adapter. So we already have the view ready. We already okay. So we need to get a list, right? So we will just say item list is equals to array list of item. So this is declaring a blank or a fresh new list for us. What we will do is we will keep on converting the documents into our custom object, that is the item type, and then we will keep on adding it to our list. And once that is done, okay, okay, fine. So what was the error here? It was saying that your type mismatch. We need an item type, but we found that item nullable type. So it says that this item could be null also, but we will just simply put two exclamation marks to tell that it will not be null and you will have some value. Okay. So now we have the list also prepared for us. The final thing which we need to do is set up an adapter is equals to item adapter. So this is the item adapter is has a similar piece of code as from that session. It has this very similar code. Okay, adapter is equals to new adapter, and then we need to pass items list to it, and then we will simply say items, sorry, recycler view dot adapter is equals to our adapter. Okay, so this is done finally. So we have written to our Firestore also. We have read from our Firestore also. Okay, let's just run this. Okay, so this is the documentation page, and it has various other features also. Like for example, sometimes you need that the data should be very live. For example, if it's a stock market app or something like that, data needs to be updated constantly. You cannot keep on querying. For example, in this code, we have queried. So what this will do is it will send a request to your server, and then the Firestore will return the documents or the data which was required. But if you need live kind of things, you cannot just keep on querying again and again. Instead, what we use are listeners, which give us real-time updates. It is very similar to what we have written here. Instead of get, we just simply write get attach listener kind of code. Okay, let it just load. Okay, so you can see it is similar to what we have already seen. This is database dot collection. Okay, just a second. I don't. Okay, so this is the code. Okay, so this is database dot collection dot document. This is similar to what we have already written, but instead of get, we write add on snapshot listener. Okay, but there is one thing to also mind here, that you need to have just a second. I think there is okay. So one thing that you need to keep in mind is that for using snapshot listeners, you have to attach the, like, this is how you can attach a snapshot listener, but you also need to remove that listener. Otherwise, it will keep on listening to updates even if your app closes. And then also what will happen is that it will keep on billing you. Okay, so it has a huge free tier where you can try out Firebase as we are doing right now, but it does not mean that that it is infinite, right? It will start billing after a certain point of time. Okay, so our app is ready. It's here. Okay, so you can see that it has three buttons available as we had already discussed. As you click on fruits, uh, it should, yeah, it is opening up a new activity here. But because we do not have any data, it says it is blank here right now. Okay, I don't know why it crashed. Just a second. Okay, sorry. This was supposed to be item adapter. Okay, so let's give it a final run, and I hope it should run perfectly. So it will take up a couple of minutes to build the whole project and then install it on our emulator. Okay, in the meantime, let's just look on what else can we do with Firestore. So yeah, as I told you, you can read either get the data once, which we just did, or you can set up listeners for it. You can perform various queries also, like we just did where equal to. You can do where greater than or equal to, where less than or equal to. You can also do you can also have arrays or maps inside of your objects also. So you can have all of those. You can also have a query which says not equal to. Okay, you can say that for example, if there's an array, you can say that this field must be present in that array, then return all of those documents. You can also do those. Okay, this is secure and validate data, and here it tells all the instructions on how to set up those security rules. So you can just go through it once, and then it will just tell you how to write the security rules, because it is obviously to be written once. It's not to be memorized forever. Okay, so for example, let's just look at our Firestore. So this is the Firestore console, and it is completely empty right now. Okay, and now we will just click here, add new. We will just say fruit. Let's start with apple. Okay, so yeah, and you can just simply click add, and it should add up to our Firestore. Yes, it toast is successfully written. We will just give it a refresh, and the data should have come to our Firestore server. Yeah, it is visible here now. Okay, so this is items. This is the random ID that was given to it. Okay, and this is the okay. So we forgot about ID. We forgot to mention ID inside of the object also, but you can do this. Similar to how we wrote the name and type, you can also write ID here also. Okay, so yeah, we saw already that you can do this. Okay, let's just quickly see one more example. Let's add a vegetable. We will start with potato. Okay, just see the magic. I will click add, and here it comes, a new document which has the name and type as we had told it to. Okay, let's just add one more. See, it keeps on adding, and you can just add millions or billions, although I think you might run out of vegetables. But you can have other things. For example, you can have data. For example, you can have notes. You can have data about your followers, how many followers you have. You can have that also. You can have data inside of uh, you can have, like, you can think of any app, and that's you will see how data is taken up. Okay, for example, YouTube also has lots of data. It just downloads the thumbnail data for whose channel it is, what is was the channel name, when was it uploaded, and then it shows all the information there. Okay, so this was it. Although we can, like, for example, go on to add more vegetables. So we have already added tomatoes and potatoes. We can, like, yeah, we can add more here, as many as we want. I don't know if this one is exactly a vegetable, but let's just add it. Okay, let's just add 3 4 more very quickly. I don't know, I feel like I'm forgetting vegetable names. Okay, so yeah, you can see that these many documents are added here. Okay, let's just see now how we can read it and how we query it basically. Okay, let's just click here on vegetables. So, oh, it crashed. So let's just debug it very quickly. This one says that latent property items list has not been initialized. Items list. Okay, okay. Very bad mistake to make. Here I had written private latent where items list, and then I just went ahead to create a new variable without the s, and hence it got confused and it crashed. So you can like you can read these error logs. These are extremely helpful. It exactly tells you of where the mistake was and it helps you. So this is how you can like on a live stream debugging how you can do. Okay, it will again take up some time to build the Gradle. But I hope all these was exciting for you all. You can have as many collections as you wish here also. You can have as many documents as you wish here. Okay, and then you can check out the left panel and whatever seems interesting to you. For example, if this authentication seems interesting, you can simply go on to Google and type and just search Firebase authentication, Firebase auth docs. And here we have the authentication docs. So using authentication, you actually need not write that many lines of code because Firestore also provides similar, like how we just saw, we when we had to read and write data to our servers, it had very few lines of code. Similar to those, you can these use this authentication also, where it provides basically you can see these actually many more options are available. You can sign in with Google, Facebook, or you can sign in with your phone number and OTP as well. You can sign up using email and password also. So all of these things, authentications, it provides, Firebase provides us. And this is actually the lab, these are the codes. So what you have to do is you can actually just copy the code from here, understand it a bit, read a bit that what it's doing, and actually you can just copy paste the code from here. It is not exactly copy pasting codes. These are basically, these documents are there for us to like understand and follow the steps. I would say rather that we are following the steps because it tells us how to write the code. So you can check from here and then write it on your own app. So our app has launched this. Okay, so let's just go to fruits. Okay, it should, yeah. So like we had added only one fruit, that was apple. I think so. Yeah. So these out of these many items, only one, I think so. This first one, which was apple, which was under the type fruits, only that one showed up. Okay. Other than that, one, two, three, four, five. Other five were vegetables, and hence, when you click on vegetables, so it passes the tag vegetables along with it in the intent extras. And then we saw that in the other activity, we just fetched those and then we queried according to it that we want where type is equals to vegetables. And hence, this one is not vegetable, it has fruits, and hence apple is not visible here. Other than that, all these five, exactly all these five are visible here. Okay, so like you can celebrate it that finally we have made an app where it has some network calls, although it is hidden from us. The Firebase does all of the stuff for us, but still this is a huge leap, and you can enjoy this. Okay, so yeah, I hope this was fun. Okay, so I think we have a I don't know, I think we have a networking session, or okay, let's see. But okay, so for now, this is all from my side. Okay, I hope that it was clear and it was amazing. Okay, so if you have any doubts, obviously you can contact us either on WhatsApp or Discord servers. Okay, so if we have any doubts, we can take those.
Yeah, I think we don't have any doubts.
Okay,
So,
sure.
Uh, Hello, am I audible?
yeah, audible.
Yeah, yeah, you're on.
Okay. There was one question by Ishivitwa, something like something regarding SHA 256 hash code. So
Yeah, sure.
basically, this is
Okay, so let us just show how that can be done. It's very easy. You can go to this top right corner. You can see that Gradle is written there. Just go there, and then this you can click on this elephant, which is the logo for Gradle. You can just type in signing report here, and then just press enter, and you will have the all of those SHAs. Okay, I don't think. Okay, let me just. Okay, should I show it or not? Is that Niket? Is that something private? I'm not sure.
yes.
Okay, so I'm not going to show the panel exactly, but I showed you the steps. You can click on Gradle from the top right, and then this execute Gradle task button here, and just write in signing report, and that will uh, it will appear inside of this run. No, not run. I think yeah, it should be inside this run.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
guess
is
it's.
inside. Yeah, it's above these lines of code. You will have the SHA 256, SHA 1, all of those details available there. Okay, it's kind of confidential for me, so I cannot show you exactly mine. But yeah, you can check out those. These are the steps you
And
can follow.
uh, Yonit, you can just can show that Google Service JSON file at your project level. Don't open it, just show the user that it exists.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, sure. So whenever we open our Android Studio, it basically opens up in this Android format. You can check out and change those from this top left corner. You can just see that it has project. It has various options. You can just click on project. Inside of this app folder, you will have this Google Services.json file. So again, this also has information regarding our Firestore server. Okay. So yeah, you can.
can you go to project and click click on app?
Yeah, sure. I think the
You
app
can
is open.
see there is a Google Service JSON file. Don't open it. It has
Yeah,
all those APIs for it. So my suggestion was that whenever you push your code to GitHub or something, just put this file to your Git ignore, okay, or
yeah,
uh,
definitely.
because it contains all the information regarding your Firebase database. So avoid it,
Because
add it to the Gradle, add it to the ignore, and
yeah,
yeah, you are good to go.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, uh, so I guess you just build your first network related app, right? Isn't it
Yeah,
interesting that you have such a great power with Firebase that you can now store the data and read the data from the database without any efforts? Like it's just couple of lines of code, right? And we can even make it a single line. Okay, it handles all the background threading and other stuff for you. It just gives you data at the UI thread. Isn't it great? Like you can build anything. You can build your WhatsApp, you can build your Instagram, but uh, like things get very complicated when it gets scaled. But for learning purpose and for creating like basic app for your friends or your own need, you can definitely go with the Firebase.
yeah, definitely. It was like extremely exciting for me also when I had learned about it. And even like I've done a couple of freelance projects, and on all of those, I just used Firebase extensively.
Yeah, same for me also. This is my first session with Firebase. I was also like just very curious about to learn how to use Firebase, and from after it, and uh, and in this session, I got to learn about Firebase, like how to use, and we can also use it on like if you are web developer, so you can
Yeah,
also
yeah.
use in that
So,
way.
like I showed you, there were so many options available on the Firebase page, right? So, yeah, yes, you have endless possibilities.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
have, yeah,
Yeah, folks. So I think this is all about today's session. Like in last hour, we have learned about the Firebase, and now, as I said earlier, also like we are going to have one interaction session. So, the link I have shared on the chats, and I'm also going to share it on the WhatsApp group. So if you have any doubts, you can join us there. We will be there to help you out if you, in case if you have any doubts regarding Android. Okay.
Okay,
So
developers, see you there.
yeah, so bye bye everyone.
bye
Bye
everyone.
bye.
See you again tomorrow. Bye bye.